Favorite restaurant? I'm just gonna pick the last one I ate at. La Liguras. It's in Jackson Heights. Good Himalayan food. La Liguras, check it out.
Favorite pastime or hobby when not campaigning?
Magic the Gathering. It's the nerdiest answer ever. But I used to play this card game called Magic the Gathering. Look it up.
I thought it was going to be breakdancing. No. Okay, cool. Did you, well, you answer this, but the sole answer, ask it. Did you support Zohran Mamdani last year in the primary?
1000%. Yeah.
Do you support congestion pricing?
Yes.
Has Kathy Hochul been an effective governor?
No.
Do you support Chuck Schumer as the Democratic leader in the Senate?
No.
Do you support Hakeem Jeffries as the Democratic leader in the House?
No.
Do you consider what Israel is doing a genocide?
Yes. I thought this was supposed to be fun and light.
Okay, cool. So that was our lightning round. What we're gonna do before we ask the last question is audience. Since it's only Chuck here, if the audience has any questions specifically for Chuck, can you just line up in the middle? I'm gonna bring you the mic. If you do, feel free. Yes.
Hello, hi Mr. Park, it's good to be able to speak to you. I wish you had like a phone number or something on your website. I wanted to contact you. I sent a DM via Instagram. Didn't get a response, but I know you're busy. Just want to let you know, maybe check the DMs on Instagram.
After this.
Yeah, it's not like a subtle jab. I'm just saying like you might find some good stuff in there. So I guess my question is, are you going to lower my taxes? And what are your economic ideas, right? Because I feel like that is why the Democratic Party is losing. It's really simple. Hey, I'm gonna lower your taxes. Boom. Greatest differentiator. But all I hear is, I'm gonna tax the billionaires, right? But that connection isn't there. Right now, if you said, I'm gonna tax the billionaires so I can tax you less, then that's something different, right? That would differentiate you from Grace Meng, right? Now, I sent you that via DM, and you didn't read it, but I feel like that's where the Democratic Party is losing. Like, we need lower taxes, right? Wealth distribution is one of the biggest, I would say is the biggest issue we're facing as a society, right? When it was the 50s or whatever, there used to be like thousands of mom and pop shops, right? And, well, you'd go to the mechanic would buy from the supermarket would buy from the bakery would buy from where else, right? Now we have Amazon, right? And that's why we need to tax big corporations, which I know you support more, right? Because we don't have small and pop shops redistributing the wealth, right? Providing employment, right? So my question is, are you going to lower my taxes?
I'm going to give you the one-word answer, then give me 2 minutes. The answer is no, I'm sorry. But let's be honest, I think most New Yorkers, most Americans are actually okay paying taxes. They're okay paying taxes if they see the return in public services. If they saw their taxes were giving them clean streets, roads without potholes, good schools, healthcare, childcare, safety, I think most of us do feel something of an obligation to our society. And so I think people are okay paying taxes. They don't want to pay more taxes, but I think they're okay paying taxes so long as they see that the government is using those taxes to deliver the things that they want and need. And that, I think, is why people are so pissed off, because the government isn't doing that. I keep saying this, but it's true. We are the richest country in the world. We can't provide for every single one of us, but we're not doing that. We're spending $1 trillion a year on a Pentagon war machine. A war machine that has all the incentive in the world to continue to go to war, to deplete their Tomahawk cruise missile supplies so they can re-up the next year, for Raytheon to make billions more, to feed those billions into corporate pact donations to the members of Congress who continue to increase the Pentagon budget. I think that's the world we're in right now. And so the answer is no, I won't decrease your taxes. I will fight to use your taxes to actually make your life easier. Healthcare, childcare if you have kids, free school lunches, We could build literally we could build a new flagship hospital in every single state for less than 1% of the Pentagon budget every year. We could build a new subway line in every borough for less than 0.1% of the Pentagon budget. So there is so much room for us using the resources we already have to do things that would transform our lives for the better. If only we stopped choosing war and destruction and ICE instead of taking care of us.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Chuck, good to see you. Just wanted to bring up something I mentioned to you at the town hall in Flushing. Hawaii just became the first state to ban dark money. I think, what was it? It was Bill 2471 into law. And I think that's going to spark a big conversation about state by state efforts to sort of like overturn Citizens United. If it's too complicated to do it at a federal level with everything that's going on, would you be part of making that a conversation about making that happen at a state level?
I would absolutely be supportive of restrictions on dark money, on corporate money, on lobbyist money, special interest money in politics. I think that is the problem. No one blames anybody for being successful. You hustle, you grind, maybe you're lucky, you succeed. I think the problem is when you turn your economic success into political influence. And you see that at the very top. You see Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk taking their billions and maybe close to trillions now for Elon, and then explicitly buying influence, protecting themselves, hacking tax codes, hacking regulations to keep themselves rich. And so I think we need bans on big money in politics. I have to study the Hawaii bill. I'm not familiar with it. But we can't overturn Citizens United. We have to increase the size of the Supreme Court to do so, but we can do it. Congress has that power, and we should do it.
We can do it at the state level without the Supreme Court.
There's something, I want to
Yeah.
just to let you know, if you're not aware already, there is a bill in our state legislature which may not have anything to do with your campaign, but just for the sake of everybody here, what Adam is referring to in Hawaii actually originated in Montana. It's called the Montana bill, and Mika Lasher and somebody else sponsored a bill. It's in our state assembly, and what it would do is limit what a corporation can spend money on in the state, because the state determines what a corporation can do within its boundaries. So if the state passes this law, and I'll send it out again. I did an email on it to the Forest Hills Indivisible group, but I'll send it out again. If the state passes a law that limits what corporations can do, especially New York State, that would set a great precedent for the rest of the country. So Hawaii, I guess, just did it. In Montana, it's passed in one of their houses. I don't know if it was the Senate or the Assembly. There is a bill in the New York State Assembly. It has 9 sponsors and 0 in our Senate, our New York State Senate. So we need to get on our state legislators to start doing the right thing for New Yorkers. Sorry to...
Give that a round of applause, yeah, absolutely.
We give it up for Gene for the hurt. We were able to secure this venue. So thank you once again, Gene. If you want to add on, or we're good?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Awesome. So, another one?
I just want to say I'm a Democrat, even though that question didn't sound like it.
That's fine, yeah.
I will also say that growing up here my whole life, I know people who have taken a job that pays $5, $7 less because they can work under the book. So saying that taxes, everybody wants to pay taxes is really, I don't think that's accurate. And I think that's a big issue with the Democrats, right? We hear take, spend. And I think taxing people less would be a material difference in a time of so much increasing prices and strife. It would be a real material difference, right? This is something that would be bipartisan, right? Because you're not going to tell me you're going to get a Republican in Congress who's going to be like, no, I don't want to vote for lower taxes. And last thing I'll say is people who I know who voted for Trump, their number one reason was because he said he was going to lower taxes. Just saying. That's why we saw that increase. and Republican voting in the last election because taxes. So it's always important.
Any other questions? Yes, please.
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. I happen to be a privileged person. I live in Forest Hills and work in Corona. I spend a great deal of my time, I'm going to say about 10 hours in Corona. I run a Head Start program for 132 families. And during the ICE, I'm going to say last year, we had an incredible number of families that were attacked. They would come in at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning and kick their doors. And it reminded me of Nazi Germany, how people would huddle in the room most farthest from the door. So the children, they would keep the children quiet. And I heard stories and stories, Chuck, to the point that my organization did not have a clear paper on how they stood. Later on, they developed their paper. But I called my civil rights attorney and I said, I want you to be on the alert that I may be arrested if ICE comes into our school. I'm going to chain my arms to the doors because they're not taking our children, our families. There was so much pain. I feel like I've left some PTSD in me because I've hurt so many families over and over. Our attendance went down. The families weren't working. They were home. They were afraid of walking the streets and being attacked. So to you, what is your plan? ICE is killing our communities. It's creating so much stress on our children. I'm seeing children in the classroom with that, if somebody opens the door, they're like looking around because these discussions have been held with them. If mommy doesn't come to pick you up this afternoon, grandma will. These children are being terrorized. And this is our future generation, and this is who we are raising. Children in pure terror. So please, help with that. This is serious here. We live in Forest Hills. I spend 10 hours, 3 miles from here. It's a different world. But these are our people, and we're all one. So please help with that. It's too much already, what's going on. The separation of these families. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for what you're doing. Every single one of us can do something. Not just a member of Congress, every single one of us, if you're not already in a mutual aid group, a signal chat, it's very easy to do, it's very easy to stand up. It's also hard because it does take some courage. And thank you for your courage for standing up for the families at your center. Go to Hands Off NYC. There are still trainings. And believe it or not, ICE is still disappearing 600 people a month. The Deportation Data Project pulls data from the Department of Homeland Security. Every single day, there are dozens of New Yorkers in the 5 boroughs being grabbed and disappeared. It's still happening. And they're doing it in neighborhoods like Corona. They're kicking down a door at 4 in the morning, grabbing some dad while the kids are screaming. That's how they're doing it. They're still doing it, and no one's there to record the video. So we need every one of us who is able to sign up for one of these mutual aid groups, rapid response networks, however you are able. We need to show up for each other. And yes, we need to demand that our leaders do more.
Absolutely.
We need to be demanding the abolition of ICE. We need to dismantle that agency. So first of all, we need someone who can even say those words. I am calling to abolish ICE. I'm not in Congress yet, but that is the first bill I will sign on to on day one. There is a bill to rescind their money and to dismantle that agency. I will sign that on day one. And I will keep saying, abolish ICE. That is something that my opponent has never said.
But
Again,
she had 200 votes.
So here is...
We got to develop coalitions. We have to change their minds. These people live, in La La Land.
They do live in La La Land. They're totally deluded about what it will take. And the most frustrating thing is, it's not just Republicans, it's Democrats. It's Democrats who think all it will take is, hey, show your badge and things will be fine. And they won't stop kicking down your door and grabbing a mom or a dad. Right? I hope most of us agree that is not anywhere good enough. It is not good enough to meet this moment. And so, I think first of all, we all need to show up. Second of all, we need to demand our leaders can call for the abolition of ICE. And then yes, we need to build a coalition. But guess what? Abolish ICE is a popular position in this country, not just among Democrats. And so it is popular. We need leaders who have the guts to do the easiest thing. Do what is popular. Vocally call for this. Don't make your base drag you to do the right thing. And so I will call repeatedly and vocally to abolish ICE. I will sign that bill. I think that is a clear difference between me and my opponent in this election.
Awesome, thank you. We'll have time for 2 more. If anybody has, come on.
Good evening, Chuck. My name is Moses, and I'm a proud Queens College graduate. And a lot of Gen Z grads are worried about how the job market and how artificial intelligence might affect their future careers. What do you have to say to young people who are concerned that AI will make it harder to find good jobs and build a successful and meaningful future?
That's a great question. First of all, shout out to CUNY. My parents, when they came here, they took night classes at Hunter College while working on Canal Street by day. And so that gave them a basic education. They were able to open a small business, what they learned taking economics courses at night at CUNY schools. So I think new grads should be worried. All of us should be worried about what AI is doing to society. Not just the job market, but to our brains, to our perception of reality, to all of it. I think there are incredible social harms, and the most visible ones are the jobs. They are disappearing. Every single week, it's another round of layoffs at another company. 10,000 at Disney here, 20,000 at Amazon there. It's not just erasure of jobs, it is people not being hired for entry-level jobs in the first place. I have journalist friends who can't get a first crack at a job just being a stringer running out chasing stories. I have entry-level software engineers who can't get a job doing the most basic coding that will help them build up to become a senior software engineer. So people are being cut off before they can even start. So I think what we have to do is support a few things. One, a moratorium on data centers. We need to stop building them and absolutely stop subsidizing them until we understand the full social harms. Not just social harms, but environmental harms to water, the harms to our power grid, the amount of electricity they use. So we need a moratorium right now on data centers. 2, we need to make sure that children are not exposed to AI. I think we should get AI out of public schools, out of all schools, but children shouldn't be encouraged to use their tablets and hop on ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. I think there should be a ban on the use of AI in schools until we understand its impacts. I think, like most other things, it can be addictive. We see it with smartphones already, and we're already behind on regulating that. I think AI will continue to lead to harms to the mental health of children. We need to ban the use of AI in schools. And then we need to just understand this more. I don't see the benefits manifesting yet. I see a lot of harm. I don't see the miraculous cure for cancer or the solution to the climate crisis coming out of AI. I see a lot of weird AI slop all over the internet, and I see massive, massive loss of jobs. And so we need to stop it right now before it goes any further.
Time for one last one. Anybody?
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Who you got winning tonight?
Knicks, dude, come on, let's go Knicks.
There you go. Okay, cool. So going into the absolute last question is this. So usually how we do these candidate forums is we give an opportunity for the candidates to ask questions to the other candidate, but since your opponent is not here, if she was, what would be one thing you ask her directly if she was here?
So much to ask.
One thing.
It wouldn't be a question, it would be a request. Will you refuse to accept corporate PAC money, lobbyist money, and APAC money for this election and any future election? Will you refund that money? Because it is a conflict of interest.
You know, she might be watching this, so maybe we get a video reply, right? So now last thing is closing statements, 2 minutes, make a final appeal, and early voting does start this Saturday coming up. So guys, whoever you vote for, make sure you get out there and vote. And then election day will be June 23rd, so please, your last appeal to the voters.
Sure, my last appeal is this: every election is a choice, and there is a clear choice in this one. I'll lay out 3 key differences, and then the choice is yours. One is on ICE. As I've said, I'm calling for the abolition of ICE. My opponent is calling for accountability and badges. I don't think that goes far enough. 2, a key difference is in the powering of our political campaigns. Mine is powered by individual human beings only, 100% individual contributions from a cashier at Costco, from a Lyft driver, from my cousin, from a deli owner, from normal human beings. My opponent's campaign is powered by millions and millions in special interest, whether it's defense contractors, ICE contractors, APAC, casino lobbyists. I think that is a key difference in our in this election. The third thing is, yes, when it comes to Israel and Palestine, I believe that the United States should stop sending a blank check to Israel every single year. I believe what has happened is a genocide, and I do not believe that we should be funding it. My opponent is on the extreme opposite end of that position. She has reauthorized and reauthorized that aid every single year. She has defended Netanyahu in not just statements, but in signed House resolutions. So that is another key difference. There are 3 key differences. There are many more, but I would ask you to look at those 3 points and make your choice. Voting starts this Saturday. Of course, I would be honored and privileged if you would choose me. Make sure you vote. Once again, my name is Chuck Park. I'm running for Congress in Queens, New York City. The most diverse, the most beautiful, wonderful, spicy, the most fire communities in the world. And I'm so grateful that you are all here giving up your evening before the Knicks game to be here. Thank you to you guys for hosting. And I really do hope that Representative Meng will show up for a conversation. I do hope she'll show up. There's another forum tomorrow in Bayside. I don't know if she'll show up. There's a masjid hosting another forum. I don't know if she'll ever show up. But I do want to show up every single time to present myself, to answer your questions. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you. We really appreciate you being here. We know this is vital times to be canvassing, but you chose to spend it to us to speak to this crowd of hopefully future constituents. So yes, thank you. And
I want to thank once again Jean from Forest Hills Indivisible. Before we end, can you please come, you want to share a quick word to the audience? That'd be awesome. Just because of her, we were able to secure this sanctuary, so thank you so much to Jean. Please.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for coming. And just to really encourage you to make sure you get out and vote and take 2 or 3 people with you when you do. It's really important. I think this is going to be a very critical election. I want to say I'm really annoyed that the press has not focused on this particular community. I don't understand that at all. And if you don't mind, I want to just pitch one more thing. We have this coming election, local election, includes an election for judges. And we do have somebody here in the audience that is running for civil judge as an insurgent who has really suffered from the kind of orchestrated attack that the local county machine will mount against an insurgent. So may I introduce her and just ask you to research her yourself as an insurgent. This is Julie Milner, who has suffered tremendous disparaging press, personal attacks, smears, and attack on her family. I think all because she decided to run on her own.
Thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate you and what Forest Hills Indivisible is doing to roll back the attack on our constitutional rights. And I'm not allowed to make any kind of political statements, but you all know what I mean by that. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you're doing. Thank you to this lady right here. I just told you I love you because you're in the trenches fighting for our children. And I was a school teacher and families, and I was a school teacher in a Title I school in Bed-Stuy when he stole the first election, and I had to come and deal with all of the fallout and the fears and the tears. And so as an educator, I know and I love you for that. Thank you, Jatney, for everything you're doing in the community to get communities involved and having forums like this. I'm coming to another one of yours coming up, the one for the Senate. Yeah, District 13. So thank you. And most of all, I want to say thank you to Chuck Park. This man has done an incredible job over in Jackson Heights, where I'm living now. We lived in Rego Park, so we were over here a number of years. And he was amazing in Jackson Heights, and we feel the loss of him. He was the only one who was for the people over there. So I wanted to come tonight and see you. I'm so happy that you're here. And this says everything. I'm not going to say it. So thank you. Thank you so much.
So yeah, there's a bunch of races on the ballot. I think sometimes civil court judge, Supreme Court judge, no one knows what they are. Sometimes we know they're judges, but no one really does any kind of educational, seminars. And when they run, it's just like, hey, go out there and canvass and campaign. So once again, thank you so much to Mr. Park. I really appreciate it. And our members of the team, as well as Gene, can come up. Let's take a photo with Chuck. And once again, thank you to everybody for coming out. Please stay informed, stay engaged. And whoever you vote for, just make sure you go out and vote and take 5 more people. Thank you once again, and make some forward.